Hey guys, welcome back to One Stop Biology, and today we are going to study Kingdom Protista. Okay, so I hope you remember that in the last video, in yesterday's video, we studied the Kingdom Monera, which consists of all types of bacteria. Bacterias are, I hope you remember, the most abundant found organisms on earth, right? So if you have not checked out my previous video, please do go and check it out. I hope you will understand the entire group of Kingdom Monera as discussed in NCERT. And don't forget that this is the NCERT series for class 11th that we have started. I'm going to cover the entire NCERT class 11th and 12th, and I'll be starting NCERT class 12th as well very soon. Also, you can find the entire notes and solutions of class 11th and 12th NCERT on my website onestopbiology.com. Okay, so do go and check the website out once. I hope you will find it very helpful in your studies, either if you're preparing for NEET or if you're going to appear for your board exams very soon. Okay, so let's start with the Kingdom Protista. Now basically Kingdom Protista is nothing but all single-celled eukaryotes. Okay, so all the single-celled eukaryotes are placed under Kingdom Protista, and they are primarily aquatic, and they are known to be as they form a link between plants, animals, and fungi. Okay, so they are single-celled eukaryotes, they are aquatic, they form a link with plants, animals, and fungi. Now so we'll study the complete structure as well of different kind of protistans. Basically what happens is they contain a well-defined nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. They also have a flagella or cilia. And why does they have a flagella or cilia? It's basically for movement. Okay, so for movement or locomotion, as we say it. Now, how they reproduce in general? They reproduce asexually and sexually by a process involving cell fusion and zygote formation. So they reproduce with both the processes, asexually and sexually, and it involves cell fusion and zygote formation. Now we are going to study all types of protistans in this video. Now how many types of protistans are there? So basically there are 5 different types of protistas. Now the first being chrysophytes, second is dinoflagellates, third is euglenoids, fourth are slime molds. I hope you would be remembering these names. And the last one being protozoans. Okay, so we are basically going to study these 5 types of protistans. Okay, so let's start with the first one being, I'll just clear it off, and we'll start with the first one, which is chrysophytes. So what are chrysophytes? Basically these chrysophytes consist of diatoms and golden algae, and we call it desmids as well. Now these are found in fresh water, so remember that you will have to be aware of all the different characteristic features of these groups of protistans. So these are basically diatoms and golden algae. They are found in fresh water as well as marine environment, and they are photosynthetic, so they are autotrophs. Now a lot of them are, or all of them are, microscopic, and they float passively in water currents, and that is why they are known as planktons. Now what happens in diatoms? In diatoms, the cell wall of these diatoms form 2 thin overlapping shells, and it is embedded with silica, and it is indestructible, so it is very strong. Now what they do is they leave behind a lot of cell wall deposits in their habitats. Okay, and this gets accumulated over billions of years, and it is known as diatomaceous earth. So what they do is basically they have shells, and it's made up of silica, and it is very strong, and with time they keep shedding these shells, which gets accumulated and forms diatomaceous earth. Okay, now this soil, the soil of diatomaceous earth, basically is used for polishing, filtration of oils and syrups. Okay, and they are chief producers of oceans. Again, a very important point, that they are chief producers of oceans. Okay, now we'll move on to the second type of protistans. So the second type being dinoflagellates. Now what are dinoflagellates? Basically, dinoflagellates are mostly marine and photosynthetic. Now they, as we said that the chrysophytes are diatoms and golden algae, here they are yellow, green, brown, blue or red, depending on the main pigment which is present in the cell. So they can be of different colors. They can be yellow, green, brown, blue or red. Okay, they have two flagella. Now there are two flagellas present. One is longitudinally and the other is transversely. So basically the second one is in a furrow in between the wall plates. Okay, and we'll study the structure as well. So what are the red dinoflagellates? Red dinoflagellates basically undergo such rapid multiplication, and that is why they make the sea appear red, which we call it as red tides. Okay, so what they do is they very rapidly multiply and they make the sea being red, and they also release toxins, okay, which can kill other marine animals such as fishes. So they are toxic. Okay, now there's one more point which I would like to mention is the cell wall of dinoflagellates are stiff cellulose plates on the outer surface. Okay, and so I'll just write it here as well, that their cell wall are made up of cellulose plates. Okay, where on the outer surface. Okay, so these are dinoflagellates. They can be of various colors. They are marine and photosynthetic. They have two flagellas. One is longitudinally, the other one is in between the wall plates transversely. And the red dinoflagellates, they undergo rapid multiplication and they make the sea appear red, and they can also be toxic. So they really basically release toxins in a very big number. The amount of this toxin can be huge, and it can kill the marine animals such as fishes. So the next types of protista is euglenoids. Now what are euglenoids basically? So euglenoids are freshwater and they are found in stagnant water. Okay, so they are found in stagnant water. Stagnant water. And instead of cell wall, what they have is they have a protein rich layer which is known as pellicle. Okay, and that is what makes their body flexible. So what they do is, in the other two types of protista, what we read is that their body is stiff because they have a hard covering. But in case of euglenoids, what happens is, instead of a hard cell wall, they have a protein rich layer which is known as pellicle. So it is a very important property of euglenoids. You should remember it. And what it does is it makes their body flexible. Okay, so what happens is they have two flagella, one short and a long one, and they are photosynthetic in the presence of sunlight. But if they are deprived of sunlight, they behave like heterotrophs, and what they do is they start predating on other smaller organisms. So this is also another characteristic feature of euglenoids, is that they are photosynthetic if there is a presence of sunlight, but in the absence of sunlight they behave like heterotrophs. Okay, and then pigments of euglenoids are identical to those of higher plants, and there's an example, Euglena. So let's just see the structure of Euglena once. Okay, and we label it as well. Let me just clear the screen completely. Yes, so this is basically structure of a Euglena. Okay, and I'll start labeling. So basically, as we in the first characteristic feature of Protista we studied is that they have all the cell organelles, right? Membrane bound organelles. So they have a cell body which contains a well defined nucleus and all the cell organelles. So here you can see that in Euglena we have nucleus. Okay, so this is nucleus. Then inside the nucleus we have nucleolus, the nuclear material, right? Then they have their own powerhouse, which is mitochondria. They have chloroplasts. They have Golgi apparatus. They have endoplasmic reticulum. They have some contractile vacuole. And then they have an eye spot, which is known as stigma, and photoreceptor cells as well, since they are photosynthetic autotrophs. And as we studied, they have flagella. Okay, now they store some carbohydrate as well. So they have stored carbohydrate as well. So this is the complete diagram of Euglena. You should practice it several times, as it is important. You should also know what are the basic organ system, or not exactly organ system, but the cellular system that they have. Okay, how their body is very well defined with all the membrane bound cell organelles, and they have a very well defined cell wall. So basically this, as you can see, is the cell wall. Okay, so this is the complete diagram of Euglena. Now we'll move on to the fourth type of Protista, which is slime molds. Okay, so I'll just clear off the screen and we'll go to studying slime mold. Okay, so what is a slime mold? Slime molds are basically saprophytic protists. Okay, so they are saprophytic protists and their body moves along decaying twigs and leaves, engulfing organic material. So they depend on decaying twigs and leaves and they sustain themselves on that. Now what happens is, under suitable condition, they form an aggregation which is known as plasmodium. What is plasmodium? Plasmodium basically can grow and spread over several feet. Okay, and during favorable condition, this plasmodium differentiates and forms fruiting bodies. And these fruiting bodies bear spores at their tips. Now, these spores possess true walls and they are extremely resistant and can survive for many years even under adverse conditions. So even if the conditions or the environment around them are not favorable, they can survive. And these spores are dispersed by air currents, and as they get a favorable condition, again they start proliferating. So what happens is basically they form aggregation which is known as plasmodium, and it can spread over several feet. Okay, and these under unfavorable conditions differentiates and form fruiting bodies. Okay, and these fruiting bodies have spores, and these spores can survive for very long time, and under proper favorable condition they get spread and they reproduce. Okay, so these are slime molds. Now the last type or the last group of protista is protozoans. Now what exactly are protozoans? So they are heterotrophs and they live as predators or parasites. Okay, so as you can see, all different types of protistans have different characteristic features. You will have to remember it and you'll have to differentiate each from the other one on the basis of these features. So what are protozoans? Protozoans are heterotrophs and they live as predators or parasites. Now there are basically 4 different groups of protozoans. Now what are these groups? So the first being amoeboid protozoans. Okay, so amoeboid protozoans, they live in fresh water or seawater or moist soil. Okay, now what happens is they move and capture their prey by putting pseudopodia or false feet. Okay, so how they move is they move through pseudopodia, which is also known as false feet, as it happens in case of amoeba, and that is the reason they are known as amoeboid protozoans. Okay, now they can be marine forms, and what happens is these marine forms have silica shells on their surface, and they can be parasites as well, like ant amoeba. Okay, so the example of them being parasite is ant amoeba. Okay, so this is an example. Okay, the next type of protozoan is flagellated. So as the name suggests, they have flagella. So they can be free living or parasite. Then they have flagella. Okay, and they can cause various diseases like sleeping sickness. So trypanosoma, which is a protozoan, causes sleeping sickness. Okay, now the third form of protozoan is ciliated protozoan. Again, as the name suggests, they have what? They have cilia. Okay, so they have thousands and thousands of cilia, and what happens is they are active, aquatic, and they very actively move because of presence of these thousands of cilia. Okay, now then they have cavity that opens to the outside of the cell surface, and they have coordinated movement because of the cilia, and what happens is they basically steer the food that is there outside into their gullet or the cavity through the movement of these cilia. An example of these ciliated protozoans is paramecium. So what we'll do is we'll also study the diagram of paramecium. Okay, so this is paramecium. Alright, as you can very closely see that you have very small thread like projections covering the entire body of Paramecium, right? So this is nothing but cilia. Okay, then we studied that what they do is they take the food inside by movement of this cilia, right? And they have pellicle. This is pellicle. Do you remember what is pellicle? Pellicle is the wall made of protein. Okay, then they have an oval groove, which is a vestibulum. Here, as you can see, is the buccal opening through which the food enters inside. So you can see these yellow molecules. These are nothing but the food entering inside. Okay, then they have the cell mouth. Okay, so these are the cytostome. It comes out. So they have an anal pore. Okay, and as you can see, these are the food vacuoles. This is nothing but the cytoplasm. There is a macronucleus. There are some micronucleus. Both contains nuclear material. There are some radiating canal, and in between there is a contractile vacuole. So this is the complete diagram of paramecium. Again, I would request you to practice it several times. Okay, and the last type of protozoans are sporozoans. Okay, let me just clear it so that you can see it clearly. Okay, so these are the last type of protozoans, which are sporozoans. Now what are sporozoans? So sporozoans include diverse organisms, okay, and they have infectious spore-like stage in their life cycle. So basically these are considered as the most notorious ones, and out of that, even worst one is Plasmodium, and you all must be knowing Plasmodium is a malarial parasite. So there are a lot of species. There are a variety of species of Plasmodium, one of which causes malaria in humans, right? I hope you would have studied. If not, we in later chapters are going to study more about the malarial parasite Plasmodium as well. Okay, so guys, with this we are finishing the kingdom Protista, and in the next video what we are going to take up is the kingdom Fungi. Okay, so in the next video we are going to take up fungi. I hope you understood this video. If not, do tell me through comments in the video below, or you can also text me on the WhatsApp number which is given in the description of this video. You can also check out the notes provided by me for NCERT and a lot of study material which will help you in your preparation of NEET and boards from the website www.onestopbiology.com. Do give your feedback if you don't like anything, and if you want me to include things and improve on anything. I would love to hear your feedback through the comment section below, and do watch the next video on Kingdom Fungi. Thank you guys. Bye bye.